The big challenge we had over the course of the past several months is that what Russia was asking for to secure Paul Whelan's release was not something that we had to be able to give. That is a problem we are trying to solve. Our commitment to this is absolutely rock solid, intense, and this is as high a priority as the president has.
Joining us now, John Kirby, Coordinator for Strategic Communications for President Biden's National Security Council. There, I got your title correctly.
You did.
John, thank you for being with us. So, State Department officials say that they talked to the Whelan family, of course. Were they able to give the Whelan family any kind of positive updates about contacts with Russia?
Well, I don't want to get into negotiating here in public, as you might imagine we wouldn't want to do. But we were able to give them an update of where we are, what our thinking is, and sort of help them understand the path forward to try to get Paul home. I want to be careful here and make it clear that we don't have a deal in place right now. I don't want to convey that, but we certainly are smarter after weeks and months of trying to get Paul out previous to getting Ms. Griner out. We certainly have a better understanding of the context behind Russian expectations, and we'll be able to use that going forward, as Mr. Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, said yesterday, use that going forward to try to get to an actual release of Mr. Whelan.
What Jake Sullivan just said, as you heard, was that the Russians were insisting on us giving up something we didn't have control over. That was the Russian assassin in Germany, as has been widely reported, as we reported back in the summer, correct? A German prisoner.
That's right. It was an individual we simply didn't have in our custody. So it wasn't a commitment we could make. But again, as Mr. Sullivan said yesterday, we're going to continue to try to resolve that issue so that not the issue specifically with an individual necessarily, but resolve the issue that surrounded our inability to get Paul back, which is, trying to produce something we couldn't produce.
Officials have been very clear during the release of Brittany Griner that the Russians want a spy for Paul Whelan. We say he's not a spy. He says he's not a spy. And that we do not have a Russian spy in American custody.
He's not a spy. These are sham espionage charges. It's pretty clear to us that the Russians treat him differently because of those charges. And again, I want to be careful that I'm not negotiating in public. It's just that there was no way that they would exchange Mr. Boot for Mr. Whelan. The only exchange possible to us was Mr. Boot for Ms. Griner. And it's related to the fact that they believe he is something different than he actually is. They don't believe him to be a criminal the way they hold Mr. Boot. They believe that he was a spy.
And to use your phraseology, we have no one different in our custody that we could offer up?
I would just tell you that we don't have anybody in our custody that would meet the criteria Russia was asking for.
You know, they're clearly talking about espionage, and we're not. You know, I'll finish that thought, not put those words into your mouth. So let's talk about Brittany Griner and how she's doing. She's making a recovery at her own pace. We understand from her agent that she shot some hoops the other day.
Yeah.
There was a lot said about just her whole affect on the plane and how engaging she was. Talk to me about what you're hearing.
I'm hearing very much the same thing, Andrea. Obviously, she's in good spirits, and so is her wife, Sherelle. And all accounts that we're getting is that she's in good health. Now, we're not probing too deeply because this is a personal issue between her family, her doctors, and, of course, just herself. And so, but what we understand is that she's in good health. And she'll work through this reintegration care at her own pace. And how long it lasts will really be up to her, Sherelle, and the medical staff there in San Antonio. And then she'll be able to reintegrate as best as possible. And that's our goal here, is to make sure that before she begins the reassimilation into American society, that she can do so in confidence, both with mental confidence and physical confidence.